Please like and subscribe. Let's grow NAIA basketball. Thank you. Cascade Hoops Talk, bringing the world NAIA basketball one podcast at a time. Well, happy Wednesday morning to you. This is Billy D's Cascade Hoops Talk. It's December 6th. Just a couple games last night we're going to catch you up on. And we also have Chase Teichmann. He's the head coach at Florida College Falcons. They've won 6 in a row. They were in a little bit of a slide. You remember that. So we thought we'd get him back on. So we'll have that for you today. First, though, let's talk about who played last night, who's playing tonight. Let's start off with our number one Grace Lancers. They're going to be going up to Dearborn, and they're going to take on Michigan Dearborn in a non-conference game tonight. Number 2, College of Idaho. They're 6-2. They're going to stay at home. They're going to play Northwest Nazarene. That's an exhibition game. For those who don't know, that's a crosstown rival. Little background, Northwest Nazarene was in the Cascade Conference at one point. They decided there were greener pastures over on the other side at D2. So every time College of Idaho plays them, everybody in the Northwest roots for College of Idaho. Number 4, Oklahoma Wesleyan. They're going to play Tabor tonight. They're going to try to redeem that loss they had against Southwestern. They have to travel to Tabor tonight. Number 7, LSU Shreveport. They're 6-0, and they will host Loyola tonight. Number 9, Indiana Wesleyan. They played Monday night. They played East-West. They beat them pretty handily in that game. Marcus Ankeny, 15 points, 2 rebounds. Javen Buchanan just continuing to produce for the Wildcats. He had 15 points, 7 rebounds. The Wildcats go to 7-2, and they're going to play IU East on December 9th. Number 11, Southwestern. Boy, they're hot as a pistol. They're 9-0. They're going to take on Bethel tonight in a league game. They're going to host Bethel. Freed Hardman, they were in action tonight. They beat Fisk pretty handily, 93-54. They go to 8-2 in that game. For the Lions, Sam Powell, 14 points, 2 rebounds. Quan Lax, 22 points. So, like I say, Freed Hardman is 8-2. And on December 11th, I think that's next Monday, they're going to go to Life. Number 13, Northwestern, back in GPAC action tonight. They're hosting Dakota Wesleyan. Northwestern goes into that game at 7-1 after that loss at Hastings. Number 16, Morningside, another GPAC game tonight. They're going to travel up to Jamestown. Regardless of records, not an easy place to play. Morningside is 6-1, and they'll be taking on the Jimmies. Number 23, Columbia. They were in action tonight. They played Mount Mercy. They fell in this game pretty handily. Mount Mercy kind of handled them the entire game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is not a good loss for Columbia. Mount Mercy is a team. This is a game they should have won. In this game, Rushmar Hamzik, 28 points, 9 rebounds for Mount Mercy. Ryan Bartley, 28 points, 9 rebounds. Look at Mount Marty shooting, 57% from the field and even higher from 3. They dropped 15 threes on Columbia, shooting at 58%. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. So Columbia goes to 7-3, and they'll on Thursday they're going to play Central Christian College of the Bible. So Columbia needs to regroup very quickly. Okay, so that's it for the games. Also announced yesterday, the NAIA National Player of the Week. The NAIA National Player of the Week, Jacoby Hendricks out of IU Southeast. Look at some of the things he did. He scored 45 points over Brescia. He was only one shy of tying the Grenadiers single game record. For the 2 games in the week, he averaged 37 points, almost 9 rebounds, shot 52% from the floor. Congratulations to Jacoby Hendricks, the NAIA National Player of the Week. We were able to get a hold of Chase Teichmann. They're 10-3. They just won 6. I'm going to shut up and let's listen to Coach Teichmann. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D, have Coach Chase Teichmann here. He's a head men's basketball coach at Florida College. Thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely.
Earlier in the season, it looked like the Falcons were in some trouble. You dropped 3 tough games straight, but you have just roared back. What have you won now? 6 in a row now? Talk about where the team is right now.
Yeah, it's no secret. Winning helps a lot of things. So we're doing really well. We're happy. We're proud as a staff of where we are. We're excited. They go hand in hand. Like, are we happy because we're winning, or are we winning because we're buying in and we're playing together and we're doing all those right things? It's kind of the chicken and the egg argument. I think it goes both ways.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to seeing how we respond the next time we have some serious adversity. But no, we had some really good things come out of that 3-game losing streak that at the time I wasn't sure were going to happen, but because so many new guys and not knowing how they were going to gel and buy in, but the response has been great, and that's not just a results-driven statement. I mean, really, like, our process since then has been really good. So feeling really good, but that can all change really quick, as we know, and got some really tough games coming up. So we'll see how it goes. But at this moment right now, feeling pretty good.
Tyshawn Judge, he's been playing really well for you the last few games. He really came on, I think, starting the Loyola game. He was down a little bit prior to that. Was he nicked up a little bit, or was his production just down for a few games?
So we had a little meeting after the Warner game. I didn't play him in the second half against Warner, and we won that game. And we met and we talked about some things that we thought needed to change. And to his credit, he has been unbelievable teammate and player since that meeting. And we wouldn't be where we are without him. So he's played phenomenal, like you said. Really, really talented player. Can get to the rim pretty much at will. Tremendous finisher with both hands and from awkward angles off different feet. And has been shooting the ball well, and he's been guarding. And so yeah, we're he's definitely our most gifted scorer, and I'm really proud of the growth he's shown thus far, and hope he continues to keep it going, and he could be a All-American candidate and definitely a Player of the Year candidate in our conference.
Well, Coach, with his scoring and then just Jashavius Purdue on the boards in that same period, double digits rebounds every night. What makes him such a good rebounder, Purdue?
JP is he's honestly one of my favorite players I've ever coached, and I've told a lot of people that, so forgive me if I've told you that or if I've even said it on your podcast before, but he is an unbelievable teammate. He's got a crazy high motor. He has a super high basketball IQ. He's a gifted athlete. He's not a freak athlete, but he's a really good athlete who knows his game and knows what he's good at, knows what our team needs from him, and he protects the rim tremendously. He rebounds the ball, like you said, on both ends. He can switch out onto guards. He knows, what he can do offensively. So, we're actually undefeated in games he's played this year. He didn't play in all 3 of those losses we had, and
Okay.
I don't think that's a coincidence. So, I'm going to be lobbying pretty hard for him to get Defensive Player of the Year in our conference. And he's a guy that's been here 3 years, and this is his last ride. And we are just so lucky to have him, and glad he got back healthy because, like you said, he's made a tremendous impact for our team.
Coach, so one other thing I wanted to ask you about on the team's performance, the one thing that, or a couple of things you're doing really well, you're rebounding, you got a 6.5 rebound positive variance, but you're really sharing the ball well. You have almost 18 assists per game, and you're defending, especially the perimeter. Talk about what you're doing that makes those things happen.
I think with the rebounding, it's really just about forcing missed shots. The more missed shots, the more opportunities for rebounds. So for us, it's about keeping the other teams, our defensive field goal percentage, their field goal percentage down, which is going to give us more opportunities to get those defensive rebounds. I do think we're offensive rebounding pretty well. That's an area we talk about a good amount. I don't think we have quite the horses that we've had offensively the last couple of years. especially from the perimeter. And so for us, I think the second shot is just a little bit more valuable this year,
Yeah.
maybe than in years past. So we've talked about that. And then sharing the ball wise, that's just kind of something that that's always who we've been. That's who we want to be. And lately, especially, I feel like I've seen that this team sort of, instead of just being told that's who we are, they've kind of figured it out and embraced it. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is who we are. And we're starting to look like a Florida college basketball team offensively that's sharing the ball, making the next pass. And it's different this year because, even with Teichmann averaging 17, we really don't have a guy like we had Matt Simpson, who's always in 20 plus and a first team All-American multiple time. And we don't have that guy. We're going to have the five guys out there at the end of the game that are playing the best. And it might be two starters. It might be all five. It might be one. But they've really embraced that. And I don't think we were during that losing streak earlier in the year. And so, again, it's been great to see, and I hope it continues. And just proud of these guys for, they came from all different places, and, 8 new guys on one team is a lot. And, we certainly haven't figured it out, but it's trending in the right direction, and I'm happy for us.
So as you alluded to, you've got a tough stretch coming up. You've got Thomas, and then you're going to go over to the Furnace and play St. Francis out of the Crossroads and Cumberland. What is it going to take for the Falcons to keep this momentum? What do you need to do?
We're going to have to play, awesome these next couple games. Eastern Oregon, as well after that before Christmas. Thomas, undefeated at home, if I'm not mistaken. I've never played up there before. I know a lot of my friends in the Sun that have been up there a lot the last couple of years have told me it's a really hard place to play, and I have no doubt it is. So that's going to be a really challenging game, and with them wanting to get revenge from our first game of the year. And then St. Francis, saw them come down here a couple of years ago and play Southeastern and somebody else. We didn't get to play them, but at the time they were actually number one in the country. So I know what they're capable of, and they're already having a good season this year. Haven't watched a lot of them on film. Cumberland, Tennessee, very talented team the next day. And then Eastern Oregon, I feel like our schedule has been really, really hard this year and challenging. And I think Eastern Oregon's schedule makes ours look like a cupcake schedule. I mean, I look at their schedule, and they have played almost every night. They're playing a top 25, top 30, if not top 10 team. It's unbelievable. I texted Chris the other day, and I'm like, hey, man, did you just wake up one morning and decide, like, we're going to play the hardest schedule in the country? So that's our next 4 before Christmas. And we could go 0-4 very easily if we don't keep doing the things that have got us in the position that we're in.
Going back to Eastern Oregon, I talked to Coach Kemp the other night. They were down in Southern Oregon. They played Southern Oregon and Oregon Tech. I watched them play. They're a good team, and they've got athletes. As you said, though, the schedule has just been brutal. They're far better than their schedule, and they'll probably get. And I'll tell you, going to LeGrand like you're going, that is a tough place to play. Boy, they have some good fans over there, and they like to get loud. It's a big gym. You'll enjoy that facility. You probably won't enjoy the fans there, but you'll enjoy them.
Well, this year they're going to.
Oh, that's right. They're coming down to you, aren't they?
We are going back there next year, though, and I've never been to Oregon, and I'm looking forward to that. It is going to be December, so we'll see what the weather's like. But I've talked to some friends that have played up there, and one of my assistant coaches actually worked at EOU, and so I know that when that time comes next year, that is going to be an absolute challenge for sure. And I don't know how much our home court will matter because our students will be gone then, so it'll probably be a pretty quiet gym December 21st when they come to town.
Yeah, they like to give you a greeting over there in LeGrand. They have spirited fans, and the students are very, very active, and they're right on top of the court. So
I love that.
Yeah, it's always fun.
We love playing. Mm-hmm.
You play in the independent, the continental. What is it like to try to get games? You have a bunch of them here at the start of the season. Talk about kind of some of the struggles you might have with that.
Yeah, it's I do feel like I've kind of figured it out a little bit. Our first year in the Continental, we weren't great the year before, so it wasn't as hard to get games. We do have the geography factor that doesn't help a lot about being landlocked in Florida, but we do have the Sun Conference down here. We had just left the Southern States Conference, so I knew a lot of those teams and could play a lot of those teams. and then you sprinkled in some CAC games. But that first year, I didn't do a good enough job of getting enough nationally, I guess, recognized teams. And so our strength of schedule and RPI suffered. Last year, built a really tough schedule. Went a lot of places far away. Went to Kansas, went to Arkansas, went to the Battle of the Beach. And we handled it well, and that, to me, that's the reason why we finished 8th in RPI last year and got a 2 seed in the national tournament, and reaped the rewards of it. And then this year tried to do a similar thing. The only difference this year with our schedule really was that the Sun Conference lost a team. Thomas going Southern States. It changed their conference from 9 to 8 teams, which changed the way that they did their schedule. They moved all their games to second semester. They moved from Thursday, Saturday to Wednesday, Saturday. And they used to have it to where every team in that league had a bye week in the second semester. And now they made it to where every team has the same bye week. So I used to play kind of every team on their bye in the Sun in the second semester. And now there's one bye. And so I'm playing Warner this year on January 30th. But other than that, Southern States is in conference play. The Sun is in conference play. Like I said, on Wednesdays and Saturdays, they don't want to play a non-con game on a Monday. That's not really in their best interest. So I really had to play CAC classics, far away, go and play 2 or 3 games in a row, or play maybe non-NAIs that aren't in their conference schedule. So our second semester, only 11 games, more spread out, probably a little lighter on the strength of schedule side. First semester, 17 games. In my opinion, very, very difficult schedule.
Yeah.
We played 11 games between October 26th and November 21st, the last Battle of the Beach game.
Wow.
Against Loyola. And I looked at the standings and I looked at the stats on some teams that played 1 or 2 games. And I'm like, we played 11 games. But it's all going to even out at some point. We're going to have a big, kind of gap after Christmas. And then, like I said, more like 5, 6, 7 day gaps in January, February, instead of 1, 0 or 2 day gaps. So that's the way we had to do it. I'm figuring it out a little bit. But it's definitely a challenge, but every job, every conference has its challenges, and that's just one of them.
One other question about your region. When you go over and play at Southeastern there in the Furnace, that's not very far from you. Do you get fans who travel with you?
Yeah, last year we played them twice. Got a great crowd at home. And then we played them there, and our student body they just made it kind of like a mission, or kind of circled that game. And we had a ton of fans at that game last year. It was in January. And actually, after we beat them that night, they really got it rolling and won 11 out of their next 12 or something. But that was a tremendous small college basketball game. Great environment on both sides. And then, last year we were lucky enough to host the national tournament opening round, and Southeastern was gracious enough to let us use their facility since ours didn't meet all the qualifications. Mm-hmm. And so, Drew Watson, the AD there, was super helpful. And our fans showed out for both of the games. Over in Lakeland, about a 40-minute drive from us, and that was awesome. And just another, we keep saying it, just amazing small college, atmosphere at these games down here in Florida, and even up in Oregon and everywhere. It seems like you see in Indiana. I know Grace packs it out every night, and it just seems like there's a million different awesome gyms and awesome crowds and awesome traditions. John Brown with the toilet paper toss,
yeah.
And I see all that stuff, and I love it.
Yeah, the GPAC has great fan support. Obviously, I'm from the West Coast. You go to College, Idaho, it's packed. Oregon Tech has been packed every night. I went over to Warner Pacific for a couple of games when they played some Montana teams. Even they were packed up. I'm going to go down to Corbin Bushnell game this weekend and cover it. I expect they're only about an hour apart. I expect a ton of fans at that game. It seems to me, Coach, that the fans are really coming back. They dwindled down with COVID. I've noticed that there's a lot more fans at games this season.
Yeah, it's great to see too. It's almost like they missed it, but that COVID year is just so strange. Everybody playing those empty gyms, quiet gyms, wearing masks. It's like you almost, it was just long enough to where you kind of got used to it, and then it's great that it's gone. And I kind of forgot about it now until we're sitting here talking about it.
Well, Coach, I wish you luck as you move forward. We'll be watching your progress. I know you're scratching and clawing, working to get back in that top 25, and I wish you luck as you move forward here.
Thanks so much, Billy. Appreciate the spotlight you put on our program, being thousands of miles away, and the attention you show and cover, everybody across the whole country. It's it's great for the sport and for the level, and I really appreciate it. I know other coaches do as well.
Well, thank you. That means a lot, Coach Teichmann. I really appreciate it. That's Coach Chase Teichmann. He's a head men's basketball coach, Florida College. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Billy. See you, bud.
Hey, thank you very much to Coach Teichmann, also to Florida College. Like I say, they're on a 6-game winning streak. We'll see what they can do. I really appreciate everybody listening, and we'll be back tomorrow. And tomorrow, mark your calendars, we're going to have Brendan Rudy. He's the head men's basketball coach at Menlo, the Oaks. We haven't had him on for a while, so I'm anxious to get him on the show tomorrow. In the meantime, make sure you go out and support your local NAIA team, because did you know this? NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school, because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.